Thanks for joining us. I'm out here at the new location of our waste hauler, garbage hauler, that you've met before. A few months ago, we interviewed Jerry Schnitzius, General Manager, Waste Pro. Is that the right title?
Correct.
Did I get your title right? Well, you talked to him. It was kind of a rainy day that day. This is a beautiful day. A few months later, out at their new location out here in Arden. You've got a long way to go with your construction inside, but it's coming along. It looks really good.
Slow but sure.
And let me tell you where we're standing. We're standing here, and I want you to tell me what this is. In front of their beautiful logo, Waste Pro. But is this a gas tank?
Yeah, this is our fuel station.
Fuel station.
Yeah.
So they actually have a fuel station here in Buncombe County now. You are actually rolling well. Got how many trucks on the road now?
Well, right now we're running 28 every day on the routes.
Okay.
Then we have delivery trucks and service trucks beyond that.
25,000 plus customers?
Yep, 25,875 today.
Okay. They've come a long way since you watched us before, and I know a lot of you did watch that episode. We're back to find out how you are doing, and I know we've heard from a lot of you. We've heard a lot of compliments. You know we've heard some complaints.
Sure.
We're going to talk about that. But we just want to hear, how is it going? 25,000 customers. You've got your, I have to tell you, this place, you say it's not where you want it to be, but it is clean out here. It's neat. It just looks great. How are things going out on the road?
Actually, things are going better.
Good.
Of course, obviously we had some challenges during the winter with the weather and just access of getting into some of the mountain roads.
Well, you guys know at home, and if you didn't know, you're not from here, but that was the worst winter in 20 years. 3 15+ inch snows. You have been through it. You get through this winter, next winter will probably be a breeze.
I've heard that. Well, I guarantee you next winter we'll be much more prepared than we were this winter.
Okay.
But truly, it is coming along. When we get customer complaints, we're very upset. We're upset with ourselves that we even have these complaints.
Right.
But probably the biggest thing we've had the problem with is our billing system and people understanding the billing system. And just recently we started a reroute. So anytime you change days of service on people, you have problems. And we'll get through that very shortly. And then everything is going to be wonderful. Our goal is to eventually get to the place we have 0 complaints. And it's not an unattainable goal. I mean, we've been there before. Several of our operations right now are working on that level. And have attained it to 0 complaints.
Wow.
And that means 0 missed stops, 0 complaints on anything. And we will get there. Yeah. And that's, again, we try to take it to the next level. And I know some of the people that we haven't made happy would love to have a conversation with me right now. But we truly are.
Right.
We feel we're working through the problem. We know we're working through the problems, and within a very short period of time, we're going to be on top of it.
Yeah. Well, it was a big transition, though. Taking over for another company that had been here, taking over for them, and it was a hurdle just to get everything in place, coming from out of state, actually, to get going here.
And a lot of our employees, of course, a lot of the employees came over from the old company, and professional drivers and excellent. We've had a lot of training, and they know now they take it to the next level. We step up, and we've brought in a lot of new people, and for those people to learn the areas, it's been a challenge. It's
been a challenge, but you're making it. I just want to say, and I just want to talk about this before I forget it. I know, because you're my garbage hauler out in Fairview, and the first few times you picked up my garbage, I thought you hadn't gotten it, because the can was straight up, lid was on, and I thought, oh shoot, they didn't get it today. But it was empty, because that's part of what you guys do.
Early on we had a lot of those problems. People would say, you haven't picked me up. We'd say, you have to go out and look at it.
Yeah, because it's empty.
Yeah. But everybody's instructed, always set the cans up, set the lids upside down on the cans. On the carts, the big carts, when they're dumped, they have to be turned sideways to the street, and the lid's always closed. The lid's closed on everything. The only thing, unfortunately, we can't overcome is when we have the windy days, because empty garbage cans blow all over the place.
Right, they do.
But we monitor it, and we make sure that that's the level of service that we're going to maintain forever. I mean, again, we want to take it to the next level.
Right.
And that includes putting the deodorizers on the trucks and everything else.
Yeah, we were going to come back to that in just a minute. Is there anything that you want before we leave that as far as getting the garbage picked up or putting it out? Now, you said you've had some route changes just recently, but that the citizens need to know that can help your guys, or that just little tips maybe about how to get the garbage out? And
well, sure. Some of the biggest confusion, especially on recycling, is a lot of people were putting blue bags in the trash cans. So then the trash routes would come by, they'd see the blue bags, and they'd set them out alongside. Well, unfortunately, by then, the recycling driver had already passed, so we have this mist.
Right.
We have had a lot better response from people because we tell them do not put their blue bags in the trash cans,
Right.
and it is getting better. The other thing is when people put out their trash, a lot of times, and I don't know why, they'll hesitate putting out the blue bags, and I think it's because of the erratic schedules through the winter. But it's so important for now that people have their trash out and have their blue bags out
Yeah.
at the same time.
Because a lot of people will say, well, I put my trash out, but I don't want to take my blue bags down because something will get in it.
Right, exactly. And what people don't understand, we run 2 different trucks. Previously, it was run by the previous hauler. They tried to do it with 1 truck, and believe me, that's not the way to keep the materials clean.
Right.
So
right.
we run 2 trucks, and that confuses people. They'll see a truck go by, and the blue bags are still sitting, and then they get frustrated and take the blue bags in and call you, and wait a minute, we just went by there. Oh,
Right.
well, I'll have to set it back out.
So they should take the garbage out, the blue bags out, or their container
Right.
out, the recycling container out at the same time.
Same time. And
But don't
please,
cross them.
don't
Leave them
cross.
separate.
And
Yeah.
understand, we're only servicing the recycling for people who are our customers.
Right.
We cannot, but we will not pick up blue bags everywhere in the county just because they're piled in a side of a corner, which a lot of people are doing.
Right. And I think that was a habit of the other recycler who sometimes said, put your blue bags here and we'll get them. No. You guys want them with the trash
No.
at your home.
At the pickup location.
Right.
Now, there will be a few roads that we can access, so we ask the people, yes, bring them down to this location.
Right.
But for the most part, it's at the house.
Right. And we will, I do want to say that again because I know you've had some trouble with that. Just because you're a county taxpayer, that does not entitle you to recycling pickup. You have to be a customer of our franchised hauler, which is Waste Pro.
Right. And just because you're a taxpayer doesn't mean you get free garbage service.
That's exactly
Now,
right.
And I might point out that from the beginning, from January 1st, the drivers have been instructed to pick up every unit. We weren't checking addresses, we weren't checking customers, we were cleaning everything. That now is starting to wind down. We are going to start checking. So people who are not customers, they need to call us to get on the service
Right.
because we will be leaving the trash behind.
Right, and you don't want to do that. Of course,
No.
let me rephrase too. If you are a Buncombe County resident, there are places you can recycle that you don't have to be, but
Yes.
if a customer of yours. However, if you want the convenience of getting your garbage and your recycling picked up at the same place, you need to be a customer of Waste Pro.
And we're trying to make it easier because we're offering more containers now to recycling.
Right.
A lot of people, well, my blue bags, every time I put the blue bags out, the animals get in them.
Yeah.
We have 2 different types of containers that we'll furnish for the people. Obviously, there's a small charge in the smallest container, and a little greater charge, but one is a cart that's all blue, and that the blue cart is for
Right.
recycling.
Okay.
And if anybody's really into recycling, we've had a lot of customers jump on them. And in the future, we will be advertising, and I'll put out some literature. Here's what you can do.
Good.
And people need to be educated in recycling continually.
Yes.
What is recyclable? What is not?
That's
And
right.
So that's something we will continue to work on.
That's right, but we want those folks to definitely to do recycle. And you've made it very easy. Another thing that you've done, and we've actually gotten some calls of people going, this can't be true. They're not going to do this. Tell me about the e-waste and, like you could say, the bulky waste that you guys pick up.
Yeah. You can see what we call e-waste is electronic waste, which would be televisions or computer monitors or computers themselves. That's part of the service. There's no extra charge for that. We'll collect that. The bulky waste, bulky items, people have couches or chairs or furniture that they want to get rid of.
Yeah.
They can call us ahead, schedule a pickup, and we send a truck out to get it. Now, there is a charge for that.
Right, for the bulky items.
For the bulky items. And, usually the minimum charge is $25, which I can't figure out how I can make money sending a truck around the county for $25, but that covers most of it.
Right.
If people have extras like mattresses, we had a gentleman the other day that had 14 mattresses he wanted us to take. Well, we pay extra for the mattresses at the disposal,
Yes.
so we have to charge extra for that.
Right, right.
But that's a part of the service.
Right. And they can take that to the landfill if they want to, but if I had 14 mattresses in my house, I don't know how I can get them to the landfill.
I don't know how they got 14
I
mattresses.
don't either. But I would, that is such a service that you guys do provide.
Yes.
So, and we'll put some information on the screen about that. That is a true service of Waste Pro.
Yes, and
Okay.
that'll be continuous.
Okay. Another thing this is something that, and one of the main reasons we came back out and want to talk to you again, because guys are going to have an open house, and we'll come back for that. But I really wanted the folks at home to get the sense that Waste Pro is truly very much a Buncombe County-ish company. You match the values of the people who live here. And I want you to tell me a story of something that happened that you were sharing with me earlier. that you guys really require your drivers to be a part of the community.
Oh, absolutely.
And to care. Tell me the story about the guy who had his garbage obliterated by the raccoons or whatever it was.
That actually just happened last week, and the gentleman called specifically because he wanted the supervisors to know so they could talk to the driver.
Yeah.
But the drivers are, from the beginning, the name Waste Professionals is to us a very serious name. And it's not just something you throw out there. We are professionals. The drivers and the people on the trucks are professionals, and they're trained that way. But we had a gentleman the other day, he said he put his trash out and the raccoons got in it. He said it looked like everything exploded. He said it was literally all over the entire yard. And he said, I walked out there when the truck pulled up and they were grabbing some of it, and he said, I told him, you know, I'm sorry about this. I said, don't worry about it. He had to go somewhere. He took his wife and they left. He said on his way back home, he said, my God, I dread going home to clean that yard. It's going to be such a mess. He said, I pulled up and there wasn't a speck of trash anywhere. He said, those guys cleaned everything up. And he said, I just got to tell you, it blew me away. I'm just not used to that kind of service.
Right.
So.
Right. And what I want them to hear at home is, even if they've got a complaint, call. Express it to you guys, because your goal is to give that kind of service.
We got to get to that point where it's perfect service.
Right.
And we're not there, but we're going to be there.
Right. And if the folks at home will call and express what's going on, I think a lot of it has been billing, and I think you guys are going to work on that. But if there's an issue going on with one of the drivers or something's wrong, they'll call you, and you guys are on the road to get it right. But now you are going to require them to pay their bill, you know, and to do the things that they're required to do too.
Yeah, I had to explain to a customer recently that our service deteriorates if you don't pay the bill. It really goes away quick.
As it should. As it should. Well, thank you, Jerry.
Thank you,
Is there
Kathy.
anything else that you want, just before we leave here, that you want folks at home to know about Waste Pro?
Yeah, I want you to know that we're here for the long run, and we want to service this community, and we want to give you the best service. The service that's unexpected is where we're going to.
Right.
And we thank you so much for being a part of the county.
Oh, yeah. That resonates with us, because that's what county government strives to do. And as everybody knows, we don't always meet the mark, but we strive to. And that just so meets. So I hope you've heard that at home, and I hope that if you don't have Waste Pro as your franchise hauler, that you'll give them a call. And then learn more about recycling if you're not, that you'll get on the train with us and start recycling your garbage too.
Welcome home, man.
The flu? Isn't that just for old people? No.
Especially not this year. With the H1N1 flu virus, teens and adults under 25 like us
are at higher risk of getting sick with the flu.
That's why I'm getting vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated.
Vaccination is safe.
It's the best way to prevent the flu.
And protect myself,
my family,
my roommates,
my friends.
Get the facts at flu.gov.
Together, we can all fight the flu.
My goal was to travel the world and snowboard. I was 19, feeling like I was completely in control of my life. And then, in one day, my entire life changed. I'm Amy Purdy, and this is my story of how I survived meningitis. I remember feeling great that day. Nothing was out of the ordinary, and just started to feel sick. Nothing too bad, but like a flu. The next morning, I stood up at one point and realized my feet were purple, my hands were purple, my nose and cheeks were purple, and my chin was purple. They rushed me in and didn't think I was gonna make it another 2 hours. My lungs had collapsed, my veins had collapsed, my blood pressure was nothing, they realized that my spleen was about ready to burst. It was 10 times its normal size. And at one point I asked the nurse if I was dying, and she said, "We're doing everything we can to save you." And I remember being in surgery, and I had a choice if I wanted to stay or if I wanted to go. And I made the choice to stay. That was kind of the beginning of my new life. They had to amputate both of my legs below the knee. It was, incredibly challenging to even wrap my head around the idea that I don't have legs anymore. But yet, I was ready to take that challenge on and move forward with my life and figure out a way to do the stuff that I love to do. I started thinking about snowboarding. Like, I visualized myself being strong and healthy and helping other people. I do a lot of events where I talk about meningitis prevention and vaccination. As happy as I am with my life right now, I know that I'm lucky. I'd hate for someone to go through what I had to go through, especially when there's a vaccine that could help prevent it.
So glad you stayed with us here. I just don't have words. I'm here with Barry Lawson from Kirby. He's the president. Did I get that right? President of Kirby Curbside Management.
Yes.
We like to call it Kirby. Which, if you're from Buncombe County, you know that this is the recycling center here in Buncombe County. And we've come to take a tour, and he has given us an amazing, thank you, Barry, tour. I'll say, it's dirty down on the floor. But those guys are working like crazy, and it is amazing. People should come here and just walk up here to the viewing stand and get to see what you guys do here. I'm just so impressed. They have a new piece of equipment, and you're going to walk me through it. You're going to tell me what we've seen down on the floor so you guys can see, because you're going to be impressed. But before you do that, got a couple of questions since we were here last. And I know the folks at home that watch us regularly have seen our other shows. We've been here before. And they had a few questions for you. One was, we've got a new waste hauler now in Buncombe County Waste Pro, and we just visited them out in Arden at their offices, and they gave us a tour, and they're doing a good job to try to pick up folks' recycling. One of the questions people are having that have Waste Pro as their franchised hauler now is, when their recycling gets picked up, where does it go?
It comes right here to our facility.
Yeah.
And then we're processing their material for Waste Pro.
Okay, so
in Buncombe County here.
So the city of Asheville, you get all of the stuff that's picked up, but also if they have a franchise hauler in Buncombe County, that's Waste Pro, it comes here.
It is coming here.
It's coming here. Their second question for us was, once it comes here, and we're going to talk about what happens when it gets here, because that's amazing. Where does it go? Once you've got it all baled up, like we'll show in a few minutes, where does it go from here? Or I think, like I told you before, I think the main question was, what does it get made into? Once it leaves here, what does it become?
Each one of the materials, as it leaves our facility, goes to a company that reuses that material and makes it back into a new material. For example, our cardboard, as that is recycled, then we get that prepared, we put that on trailers, and then ship that to a company that makes it back into cardboard again.
So it comes back as cardboard again?
It comes back as cardboard again.
Oh no, that's cool.
And so with our paper, it gets made back into paper again.
How about aluminum?
Aluminum, it goes to a company that is making, to Anheuser-Busch, that is using that back in their aluminum products.
How about, of course, the plastic bottles?
And then the plastic bottles, a lot of that material gets made back into carpet and is used in that process. Some of the material is is sent to a facility that makes bottles again. A company that Coca-Cola is a joint venture in, and they are making, taking plastic drink bottles, 2-liter bottles, and making those back into more plastic bottles.
Cool. So it's got another life. Everything, most everything that comes here has a second life.
That
now,
is correct.
Sometimes you do get stuff that it's just not going to happen with it. There's no life for it right now. But certain things you were telling me, and I think this is really cool that y'all do this, certain things there's no life, second life for it now, but you collect it and you hold it in case you find a market for it. I think that's great.
That we do have a few materials that occasionally we can find a market for. It usually is in limited quantities, and so we do get that prepared and then hold on to that material, trying to find a market for that material.
Right. So, and I know you ask everybody at home, and if they've got any questions about anything we're talking about, you guys have a great website, Kirby.com. It's great. To take the lids off, I saw a lot of bottles out here with lids on them. Like you say, don't not recycle, but please, if you can take the lids off, that'd be great. Get the stuff ready, squash it down, because when it comes here, it goes through an amazing process. Would you just walk me through what happens out here on the floor with this amazing machine?
The first thing, that when the material is loaded onto the floor, then our machinery pushes that onto a conveyor, which then is going up to our pre-sorters, and they are opening the blue bags or pulling out the larger pieces of material, such as cardboard, manually off of the conveyor belt, and looking for any other pieces of material that can't be recycled. And then that goes from there, that goes down, goes into a glass breaker that is removing any material that's 2 inches or minus out of our system. On that side, then the material, as it's taken out of the system, then we're separating with air the materials that are lighter than glass, and that is being kept separate. Then we go on to a piece of equipment that is an amazing piece of equipment. It's a gravity, works on gravity. It has a series of rubber discs on that does the separation between the plastic and bottles and cans and the paper, and separates that material, and then puts those on separate conveyors. So,
yeah, is that the thing we saw with the blowing the stuff up and it looks like it's bubbling up?
Yep.
That is a
correct.
cool thing to watch.
Yep.
That is fascinating.
So the paper is going up over the top. The rubber wheels are grabbing the paper and pulling that uphill, and the bottles and cans are rolling downhill and ending up on separate conveyors. From there, the paper is going down the line and we're removing contamination out of that. We're separating into a couple different grades of paper, and then from on the other side, the material that's coming off the bottom of the conveyor is going up to a series of sorters that are sorting the plastics, and then our magnet is pulling the aluminum cans, and then another piece, a piece called an eddy current, is removing the aluminum cans.
Wow.
So, so we're getting the steel and the aluminum out automatically, and then doing that paper separation is being done automatically, and then also removing the glass automatically out of the system.
And then you had some guys up there, I saw the conveyors coming along and it's got paper and stuff in it, and they're throwing out the stuff that's
into the different gravity feed bunkers, so that we can then bale them into the larger cubes of material, so that we can efficiently ship the material to the end markets.
Now tell me, because this was amazing to me, how many tractor loads of different things do you take out of here a day?
We're averaging probably four to five tractor trailer loads a day of materials that we're shipping out of our facility, and somewhere around 20 trailer loads a week.
Wow, That's a lot. Now, has that increased, decreased, stayed about steady?
It is increasing a little bit.
That's good.
And so that is good. We're very pleased. We've got a very cooperative community and is very supportive about recycling.
And one thing I've also learned, kind of a difference in the city and county, is the city, you do have a way to tell them if they pick up their blue bins, if there's something in that bin that you don't have a market for. And that's the C, you don't have a market for it. You're going to leave it in there, give them a little hint, this we can't take.
Right.
That's great. But now Waste Pro doesn't do that on their end. They don't do that. So our folks need to go onto your website and see what the stuff is that just can't take it. Because what happens when it gets here is it does have to go on to the landfill. And you guys have to go through the process of separating it all out and culling that out. And so that would help if people would just realize there's no market for this. And you and I had a good conversation, and I love what you said. You really do, this is a business. And you guys want to make a living. That's the beauty, and that's why it's green, is you're giving it a second life. All this stuff that's potentially, and some years ago, all of this magnitude of what the folks at home have seen now would have gone into the landfill, correct?
That is correct.
Now, though, with this business, you guys take it, give it a second life, and you are totally willing to give new stuff a second life if you can find a market for it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep. We take great enjoyment in trying to, number one, be good stewards of the materials that are out there that we can reuse.
Right, and I just think that's beautiful, and that is Buncombe Green. If it saves money, if it saves time and or the environment, it's green. This is green, and that is great. Thank you, Barry. What else do you want our folks at home to know? Just tips about recycling, and like I said, let me say it again, Kirby.com is a great place to go, all kinds of good stuff. One thing I did learn, and I just went out there on your website and found this out, and we are a partner in it, Buncombe County is, and that's the Moving Box Exchange, which if you've just moved here, or if you're going to move, it says, goodness sakes, don't throw your boxes away or don't go buy new ones. There's a place to come and get some moving boxes.
There are a couple places in town that you can get your moving box. You can get moving boxes and use those moving boxes to move to a new location, and then hopefully recycle those again, bring those back to the buildings that we have. There's one in front of our facility that can be used, and then there's one at the Buncombe County Transfer Center that also can be used in being able to help you with reusing your cardboard from your move.
Yeah, and there's some specifications on there about what to get, how to get the stuff, and then what kind of stuff you can drop off, because we don't want you to send it to you. We want those things in the moving box thing. So that was great, and I just learned that from Kirby.com, and we've got it on our website now, so you can find it on buncombecounty.org. Anything else you want our folks to know? Any hints that you think would help them to help you with the recycling?
Biggest thing, that is helpful, and just a step that in trying to is, I know that Waste Pro has a service that you can receive a bin or a cart and use that service. The bags as they come in, unfortunately, aren't able to be reused, and so that is taking another step in trying to improve the service, keeping material out of the landfill, and then also improving the efficiency of our facility, which then lowers the cost for recycling.
That is an excellent point. Thank you. I saw a lot of blue bags out here, but some of the loads, I even said to you, were cleaner than others. Clean loads didn't have the blue bags in them. And so get a cart or get a container and eliminate the blue bags. That would be great. Yeah, thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. If there's any of this that you have questions about, we're going to put some information on the screen so you can get some more details. And definitely stay tuned.